I was quickly going to ask you something, Rita, because we're almost at the end, but you said something that's so important, and I'm just always have this mother in my mind who's new to homeopathy, who's listening to this podcast and might be thinking, oh, they said that thing. What did they mean? So I always try to clarify it as much as possible. You said about suppressing a fever, and I just thought maybe you can clarify that for people that might not know what you mean about suppressing a fever and why it's important not to.
Okay, so this is how I explained it to my mum's first time. Right, so when a child has a fever, the body is increasing the temperature in order to make the white cells, which are like the body's army, go and fight the infection. So when you bring the temperature down with a paracetamol, you're then telling the white cells to be quiet and go home and stop fighting. So that the fever is not the problem. The fever is just telling you that something's going on. So if you suppress it with medicine, the fever will come back the next day because the child's body is working. That is not broken. If you then go for the second day, the fever might even go even higher and the parent is then more scared. If you suppress it again, if you think it's now 2 days worth of bacteria or virus spreading, by the third and fourth day, it's game over. The body is now given up on the fever. There is too much virus or bacteria now. You will have to go and get antibiotics. And when you get antibiotics, there's a really good, what's his name? This guy who talks about the gut. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, he's a scientist, and he says that the body never goes back to ground zero after your first dose of antibiotics in your life. So what will then happen is, more likely that virus or bacteria will rear its head again in a few months, in 6 months, a year or so, because you never healed the source. You never healed the real problem. People do worry about seizures, and that's why that they give. But then go to the Australian website because it's got a really great thing about seizures on there, and alleviating mothers' fears. The other thing I'm saying is you're not doing nothing. You've got a homeopathy kit. So it's not like you're being a bad mother, in inverted commas, or neglecting your child. You're using homeopathy. But then with that, you must have the expectation that you're not trying to bring the fever down. The fever needs to be there to fix. And if you let it go, it'll be over in 24 hours. Job done. But the homeopathy will help the child feel more comfortable. So maybe less teary, less clingy. It will help, and also help the virus and bacteria.
And once you can explain that to a mother of the reason behind it and take that fear out of a fever and make them understand it's actually a normal physiological thing that's happening in the body. Your body is so intelligent and it's actually just trying to create homeostasis and balance itself, and make them understand that it really helps. Dr. Suzanne Humphreys said that suppressing a fever with medication is like shooting your guard dog when it's trying to warn you of an intruder. And I thought that was quite good. And the other analogy I like to use with fevers is that it's maturing that child's immune system. And so I liken it to, if your child is trying to learn to walk, every time they get up to try to learn to walk, you pick them up and say, oh, no, you're going to fall over and get hurt. That child's never going to learn to walk. And I feel like a fever is the same thing. Every time you suppress that fever with paracetamol or something like that, that immune system's not actually getting an opportunity to mature and to learn and to fight the bad guys and then create immunity and memory to this and mature properly. So